That's part of business. Well, since I know the first couple of slides, I won't need them. I'll just get started while he gets those loaded up. Okay. Thank you for that introduction, and thank you to AfricaCert and AFRINIC for inviting us to talk a little bit about APWG and some of our initiatives that we've been working on over the last 10, 11 years to help battle the scourge of cyber criminals out there. The first slide basically just says who APWG is. We were founded in 2003. Just 3 or 4 guys getting together, this new thing out here called phishing, and trying to decide what can we do. Figured we'd get together, get with some of their friends in the industry, and fix it in a couple of years. And apparently that hasn't happened yet. Basically what we've done is APWG is a nonprofit organization, and we live at the need of our members. And our member organizations encompass a bunch of different folks. Here we go. So there we go. So right now we have about 2,000 different organizations. Now these are companies, NGOs, research universities, government entities, pretty much anyone involved in cyber crime that has a stakeholder in it in some way. So you got financial institutions, ISPs. I won't spend too much time talking about that. But like we say, and this group has grown over the years, to retailers, Walmart, Costco, some of these other companies. Pretty much anyone that has a site anymore has to deal with cybercrime. Right after we got started, the first thing we started to do was collecting information. So for the last 11 years, we've been collecting a lot of statistics. And I've got to stay put. It's hard for me not to move around, sorry. And so we started at first with our trends report. So this was primarily looking at phishing and the trends associated with phishing. We've been putting this out. Originally, we were doing it monthly. A couple of years back, we went to quarterly so we could look at more of the trends as they evolve and give us more time to digest the numbers. Then in 2007, we started the Global Phishing Survey, and this looks more at the DNS side of phishing and different trends we see there. We do that one twice a year at our different meetings we host throughout the year. And then last year, we started with the Mobile Threats Report, trying to drill down a little closer into the mobile issues that we see. The Q3 report is due out probably next week. So just a couple of highlights out of the current report. Unique phishing reports submitted have actually decreased. This is one of the first times we've seen this over the 3-month period. And one of the reasons behind that is primarily what we've seen is targeted phishing has increased. So a lot less of let's send out 10 million fish and a lot more of let's send out 1,000 to a specific company and see who we can get. In the last 3 months, 549 brands were targeted by phishers. That's up from 531, so pretty much anybody out there is a target, and we just keep sucking in new targets. July, the phishers set their sights on the Polish servers. So here again, the phishers, these criminal groups, they work together very well. So they picked on one country, and you saw their statistics, saw them shoot up to second as far as hosting sites. And traditionally, again, the U.S. continues to be the top country hosting phishing sites. As well, you can see down on the bottom one there, the U.S. again scored first place for hosting Trojan downloaders. And the malware samples continue to just go through the ceiling as well. So one of the things we've been working on and talking about a lot at APWG is, how can we engage the world and look at this problem of cybercrime and try to respond to it unified and as a group? What are some things we can do to talk about this? And this comes down to a term we call data logistics. I won't spend too much time talking about that, but again, it's basically looking at information, pulling it together, and trying to enable responders and forensic analysis to take action on this information. So this is just a listing of some of the different things we've been working on over the last 10 years. A few of these I'm going to talk about a little more in depth. We have our phishing repository and the block list. The e-crime exchange I'm going to talk a good bit about here. That includes things like the malicious domain suspension system. We have the Iowa Def extensions for the electronic crime reporting. This is a standardized reporting for reporting crimes and incidents. Won't spend a lot of time on that. The e-crime classification system, another one where we've been working to try to create a taxonomy. We've been working with a lot of different people around there. The landing pages, I don't think I've got anything in this one. This is one that we use, ISPs use it a lot. When you detect a phishing URL or a phishing site, the ISP can create a redirect. So if a user actually clicks on a phishing link, they'll go to an education page instead of the phishing site. That's out there, it's free, it's available for use. If any ISPs want to use it, give me a call. Going to talk about the botnet infected system a little bit, and then Stop Think Connect a little more in detail. So one of the things we started about 4 years ago, we started building in what we're calling an e-crime exchange. And basically it's a network for our members with the objective of ganging up on the bad guys. Let's all work together. You've heard several times today already from this morning's panel. We heard it just recently. Collaboration. We've got to work together. These criminals have their own dark network. They collaborate. They share. They do have one slight advantage. They don't have to obey any laws and rules about sharing information across borders. We do. But let's work together and try to do that. And that's one of the things the ECX is trying to do, is try to pull us together and let's focus on some of these issues. So the first part we migrated into the e-crime exchange was our phishing repository and URL block list. So over the last 10 years, we've been collecting phishing emails and taking those emails, pulling out the malicious URLs and tracking those. So we have a huge database, the 6 million, I think it's up to about 6.5 now. It obviously grows daily, almost exponentially at this point. And a lot of people use this data for different things. A lot of our researchers that come to us, they want the raw phishing email so they can test their latest algorithms or their latest product. We have a lot of our members that use the block list itself in their products. We don't actually give you a list of who uses it, but if you look down our members page, a lot of them use this data. We have a couple of people, or at least one sitting on our stage up here that uses our data. But so this is out here and it's available. If you're a country cert and you're collecting data and you're finding malicious URLs, come talk to us. We want those. If you need to try to find URLs that may be malicious coming up within your country, we can help you with that as well. A new program we started last year, there was been some talks about, how can we get involved? We want access to the data. We want to put data in, but we don't want to be a sponsoring member. The way APWG is set up, we have complimentary membership. If you're a government organization, so if you're a government, a country cert, you can work with us for free. If you're a research institute at a university, we can set you up complimentary memberships. But now if you're an industry player and you actually sell products and you make money, we ask you to join at a membership level and help finance our infrastructure as well. We do need income. We do have to keep the lights on and keep these servers running. But we try to make it equitable. We do have different levels. We introduced what we call the accredited reporter system. At this level, we only charge $1,000 a year for somebody to participate. So as a company, maybe I can't afford $7,500 a year to be a sponsoring member, but $1,000 a year, I can let one of my users can participate. They can go look at the data to pull out information. They can input URLs. If I'm a small local credit union and I get hit with some phishing sites and I find these, I can go put them in myself. It's pretty easy to get accredited in here. Another system we've been working on and we've been started rolling out, it's in beta this year, primarily between our steering committee members. Next year, we hope to start rolling it out to a broader audience, is the malicious domain suspension process. So what the AMDOS does is we've been working with a lot of your registries and registrars, and we have quite a few of them that are already as members and work with the APWG and have been for years. And what we do is APWG itself, I think I may actually have a couple of slides on here. Here we go. So we're trying to make it easier. If you've been working at a CERT, kind of the way things have been happening over the last 10 years is, oh goodness, I found this phishing site, or I found this site that's uploading malicious packages to my countrymen or my clients. Who do I know that works at GoDaddy? Or, who do I know that works for this ISP in China? And, you can call or send an email to abuse@, but if you don't know anybody there, it's very, very complicated to get anything done. And that's been kind of one of the things, APWG first, a lot of these different organizations do is help create these circles of friends. So when I have a problem, I can say, hey, who do I know at this ISP in Canada? And, oh, I know somebody. And they can say, oh, let me introduce you to them, and now we can get the site taken down. We're trying to circumvent that a little bit and make it easier. And so what we've done is created different levels where you've got APWG, we vet our members and say, okay, this is a respected person, and we know who they are, and so we create an accredited intervener. This is the people we know that work in the industry, we know who they are, they've got business license, they're legitimate companies, and we say, okay, if you come in and you say this is a malicious site, we've already vetted who you are. So the registry or the registrar don't have to know you personally. So then the registry and the registrars, they have accounts set up on the system already. So if you put in a domain and you've vetted, you've clicked the 7 little dots, you've signed off, basically electronic signature has said, I as a vetted accredited intervener have already gone, inspected this site and verified that this is an illegitimate site. We at APWG then on the back end, we know who the registry and registrar are for that domain. We alert them from us. So you don't have to know them. We already have the relationship built. Their agreement is in the contract is that once they get a malicious site within a specific amount of time, they're either going to go ahead and take that site down, or they're going to respond and tell you why they're not taking that site down. And sometimes they may not want to take that site down. Law enforcement could be involved. Who knows? There could be a legitimate reason. But the contract states that you will at least respond, so we will know why that site has not been removed from the domain system yet. So again, we're just building a trusted introducer system here. So it benefits the intervener. You don't have to know everybody. Your credibility's already been confirmed by us. The registry, again, they can have a better capacity here to get the criminals' domains off the system, and they don't have to, again, they don't have to work with a lot of different people. They just have one system to work with. Won't go too much into why a domain's got to be eligible. Try to save some time here. Again, the registry owns the process. Again, we're just making it easier for the information to get to them so they know where the malicious domains are. Already mentioned this. We've got about 15 registries right now. We're looking at the different registrars. We've got quite a few of those we work with as well that are going to help us out and try to get this system to grow beyond now. We are using it now on a small scale. It is out there. Another goal we're doing here is metrics. One of the things I'm hoping that we're going to get out of this, once we've got it running a year or so, we've got quite a few people in the system, we can start maybe creating a little list of who are the good registries and registrars, the ones that respond to malicious domains and help us get off the system, and who are the bad registries and registrars. That's why I'm skipping slides. A couple other things I want to mention, the botnet infected systems. So the BISANS is another one we're doing. Again, we know that botnets are a big threat. Most people get infected. They don't have a clue that they're even infected. So this is a system where we can put systems in, allow reporters to identify infected systems and notify parties and try to remediate and get infected computers off the net. There's a picture of it. I won't talk too much more about that. Some of the future work we're working with, we're looking at RT ticket integration. The RT system is a lot of the certs and different countries use an RT ticketing system to track incidents. So we're going to integrate with that. We want to start actually reporting the botnet infections out. We're looking at a responder contact system to add into our ECX. There's some social networking built into it already in the back end. So individual users, if I'm searching for a site and somebody else is searching for the site, it'll tell me that, hey, you guys are both looking for the same bad guys. Y'all should talk to each other. And then looking at, we've been told that we need to be collecting malware kits, but a lot of people are already doing that. So we're trying to find out why do we need to do it and what do we need to do differently than others. APWG does what our members need us to do. And one of the things is we don't have to obey anybody. We can decide if that's a good idea, we do it. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, then let's try something else. One of the things I've always been an advocate of is do something. Don't spend all your time talking and creating a paper about it. Let's try something. Let's try to fix the problem. Awareness. One of the problems is raising awareness with users on how to be safe, how to work safely on the internet, how to reach out to them. And so one of the things we started about 5 years ago, working with about 20 or so of our top steering committee and sponsoring members, is creating a unified messaging system. What we came up with, and we did a lot of research, blind testing, all this other stuff to create this Stop, Think, Connect program. So, so 20 international companies. Like I say, this was Google, Microsoft, Symantec was in there, AT&T, Comcast, there's a big list of these big companies. We got together, we came up with the Stop, Think, Connect program. It has lots of information out there. You can join the program and use the materials for free. We've been rolling it out throughout Latin America now. We're adding a lot of international partners. A lot of the materials are available in French because Canada was one of our first partners. And so a lot of this information's already been translated. Stop, Think, Connect, Get Involved is out there. As I said, we've already got partners. Japan has been a partner. We've got Panama, Paraguay, Uruguay, Malaysia have all signed up. We've got several other countries we're already talking to. The Organization of American States is working with us. We've also just started last month working with the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie. Did I get that right? Oh. And so we're working with them to start pushing it out throughout Africa is our big goal now. And just one last thing, our next meeting is going to be the end of May. Oh, look at that. I've got almost 2 minutes left. I'm slow down. Keep going, keep going. So our next meeting, end of May in Barcelona. It'll be a 3.5-day event. So this is where we get together. We run a research program with this meeting. If you're a student and you're working on a paper, you're welcome to submit it to this. If it's accepted, 1, we will publish it through the IEEE, and 2, we will fly you to Barcelona and you'll get to present it in front of all of our members. So if you've got some good material, doing some research, get involved with us. And if you can join us in Barcelona at the end of May, we'd love to see you there. We'll have, like I say, 3.5 days. We talk about operations, we talk about research. We all get in the room together and have some really good discussions. Most of the initiatives that APWG has worked on over the last 10 years, everything I've mentioned today came out of these meetings. And so with that, and 59 seconds, I'll say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for this presentation. We have one more step in our journey to security posture. And now we are going to talk about building a national cybersecurity strategy from Mauritius CERT. And we will be listening to Mr. Kalim Ousmani. Mr. Kalim Ousmani is an experienced security professional. He has more than 12 years of experience in IT areas and teaching. Kalim has worked in various industry sectors, including ISPs, textile, education, and communication. And he is currently heading the Mauritian Computer Emergency Response Team, CERT-MU. Please welcome Kalim Ousmani.
Moving.
Battery?
No.
Battery.
No, that's good.
Okay.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. Thanks, Jax. I would like to thank AFRINIC, as well as I would like to thank Africa CERT for giving me a chance to speak today. I'm Dr. Kalim Ousmani, presently heading the Mauritian CERT. So I would like to talk a little bit about the Mauritian CERT and then the initiatives in the country, and then I'll come back to what I have been told to talk on building a national cyber security strategy. Coming quickly to Mauritian Computer Emergency Response Team, that's the National CERT, and is operating under the aegis of the National Computer Board. And the National Computer Board operates under the aegis of Ministry of ICT. And that's the recognized national CERT for the country. And we have been set up to coordinate and handle information security issues at the national level. We promote and raise awareness, and of course, we again promote information security culture at the national level. Presently, Mauritian CERT is affiliated to our first CERT CC, and we are the member of Impact. So normally how we function is our constituency members. So the constituency members for Mauritian CERT is the entire cyber community of the country, right from ISPs to academia and home users, international CERTs, and government sectors, private sectors, and the critical infrastructures. So normally we liaise with everybody, and this is how the collaboration goes on. And we start talking to all these people on the front of cybersecurity and, of course, the information security. So some of our services which we are offering quickly, they are incident handling. And that's for the whole constituency, where I've just shown you before onto the slide. Again, we offer vulnerability scanning and penetration testing to the constituency members. And some of the proactive services, like all other CERTs they do, we talk about the dissemination of virus alerts, advisories, VNs, they goes on to the constituency members on a daily basis. Again, we talk about awareness campaigns for corporates and youngsters, and of course, public in general. So what normally we do is that we try to organize a technology update workshop for corporates. We organize awareness sessions for youngsters, and especially we focus onto child online protection as well. And again, we organize national security events, and again, international events like Safer Internet Day, Computer Security Day, and of course, the Computer Security Day for this year is going to be organized on this Friday at the Swami Vivekananda International Convention Center. Again, apart from that, we again try to churn out IT security professionals within the country, and for that we try to organize number of training sessions for the whole industry in Mauritius. And again, we try to publish a number of guidelines and e-security newsletters, and that's, of course, that goes on our website. And we are having a comprehensive cyber security portal. And that's, again, where we have a number of guidelines, tips, and best practices, which is available to home users, available to corporates and parents, as well as tickets. And another service which we provide is a security quality management service, and a number of organizations within the country, they have been benefiting from this service, and that's, of course, providing assistance into the implementation of information security management system. And based on ISO 27001, that's, of course, one of the security standards well known, and that's been implemented within the organizations. And again, we conduct a third-party information security audits for the organizations. And again, we carry out technical assessment of ICT infrastructure for the organization. So these are quickly some of the services what CERT Mauritius offers. And coming back to, because I'll be talking about building about national cybersecurity strategy. Recently, we have come up with the national cybersecurity for Mauritius. But before that, on what basis and what was the pillars on the basis of which we have come up with the national cybersecurity? So in 2007 and 11, the government has come up with a national national information and communication technology strategic plan. And within that plan, they have focused onto a cybersecurity strategy. And based onto that, they have come up with the 6 broad strategic pillars. And these pillars, right from strategic institutional coordination to enforcement mechanism and legal status, right from control standards and guidelines, universal implementation and risk assessment, and of course, ensuring third-party audit. So based onto that, if we try to look at it, that what were the initiatives which have been taken in the country in terms of cybersecurity, they start from here. First one is setting up of Mauritian CERT. So we are the second oldest CERT in Africa. We have been set up in 2008. And since 2008, and now we are, down the line, 6 years down the line, and we are operating, and we are assisting organizations, of course, in number of services which I have just shown a little bit before. Again, another initiative which the government has taken is the PKI ecosystem setup. So, we have the PKI infrastructure in place. We are having the control of certification authority. We are having the CA, and of course, we are the CA. National Computer Board is the local CA, and using that, we could issue digital certificates in the country. So that was another initiative which is already there. Another initiative which we have taken was the implementation of anti-spam action plan and legislation. So anti-spam action plan was finalized in 2006. Until then, we are organizing number of activities in order to curb and minimize spams, and anti-spam legislation that's into the finalization stage right now. Another initiative which we took was the Child Safety Action Plan that was finalized in 2009. And since then, the National Computer Board is organizing and writing best practices, and publishing guidelines onto child online safety. And there are regular events which we organize in order to sensitize what are the best practices around child online safety. And of course, another initiative was organization of regional information and security event. It's more towards awareness, and we are doing since 2008 setup, and that's going on. And another initiative was to promote the International Information Security Standard 27001. And this particular initiative is not only within the government, but of course we are promoting within the para-public organizations as well as within the private organizations. So we are offering, again, this as a service, and there are a number of organizations which have been benefiting out of this particular initiative again. And another initiative which, again, we have is the setting up of the local chapters of different professional information security associations. And ISACA is already in place and is functioning since 2001. Again, we are looking forward to set up ISC Square and a vast chapter in Mauritius, and of course, a National Information Security Awareness Program. And that's key to success for education, is a key to success for cybersecurity, and thus is again on. Coming back to national cyber security strategy, in order to enhance the cyber security around the country, we have come up with the extensive and comprehensive national cyber security strategy this year. So strategy was finalized this year, and it has just been approved last month by the cabinet. So I just wanted to share the Mauritian experience, that how we have been able to build up the whole strategies. If you just look at it, how normally we have started, so there was a working committee which was being set up at the level of Ministry of ICT. And the National Computer Board, which is the policy arm of the country, has led the development of a strategy along with other members and other stakeholders. That includes, of course, ministry itself, as well as IT security unit, and thus one of the unit which functions and which operates within the Ministry of ICT, and of course, the regulators ICT authority of the country. And other stakeholders who are again involved, and where we have sent this particular strategy for their inputs, includes PMO security unit. And this is a unit within functioning within the PMO office, Prime Minister's office, and then the Data Protection Office, IT unit of the Mauritius Police Force. And I think Gunnar Asami is already here, so again, he has been consulted onto this particular strategy. And again, we have shared this particular strategy with Impact. And we had inputs from Impact, and their inputs again being integrated within the strategy. And in order to finalize the strategy, again, what we did is that we have conducted the State of Information Security in Businesses survey, which was one of its kind, where we have got some very interesting results. And that was a focus onto the 11 domains of information security, right from the security policy till compliance. And we got some interesting findings. Based onto that, we fine-tuned the whole strategy document. And then we had the consultation workshop, which was done in March, and in order to finalize the proposed draft strategy document. So if this whole strategy, we have defined 4 main goals. So the goals, proactive goals, the reactive goals, and of course the goals where we can have the public and the private collaboration. That's much more like PPP partnership. And then surely the awareness and education. So it means the whole policy was categorized into 4 main goals. And we have come up with the 28 action lines, or we could say the 28 projects within all these 4 different goals, which we have defined within the strategy document. So, yes. So if you look at this, so the goal first, I mean the goal 1 is more towards secure our cyberspace and establish a front line of defense against cybercrime. That's more proactive approach. And within this, we have categorized a number of projects which could address this particular goal. Second goal was much more reactive, and here we are more talking about the critical information infrastructure protection framework, where all the critical sectors of the country that could be integrated, and then of course we could provide protection to the CIIs of the country. And then we talk about the collaboration model between the authorities and the business community for the purpose of advancing national cyber security and cyber defense. So again, we have come up with a number of action lines within this particular goal. And then finally, to improve the cyber expertise and the comprehensive cyber security awareness of the whole society. And here we have focused more onto the awareness component. So if you look there are all the projects within the goal 1. And the first project, if you look at this, setting up of a cyber threat monitoring system. So it's more like a SOC. That's the Security Operations Center. And this already is under implementation. We are coming up with the SOC. And for this, already we are working towards. So this is one of something which will allow Mauritius to monitor cyber threats, on a real time. And again, we are planning to set up the threat analysis center within this particular project, which will allow us to analyze malwares and the threats accordingly, and then, of course, we could pass on the virus alerts to the constituency members. So this is one of the projects. Apart from that, there are a number of other projects which we have into this goal. And within the goal to, as I was just mentioning, we are again talking about the develop and implementation of a CIIP framework. So, and that's the key to success again, because we would like to connect and integrate all the CIIs of the country so that we are able to protect those critical infrastructures. And even we are talking about the development and implementation of a cyber crisis management plan, and this will be again the part of this particular goal. And then there are some other projects and adoption of a cyber security control scheme for protection against cyber threats, and this is model based onto the UK's cyber essentials scheme, where each and every organizations will be and has to have minimum controls in place so that they are able to protect themselves as well as they stop, how we call it, say, transmitting the viruses to the other networks. So that's the goal 2. And in goal 3, again, we are talking about a number of projects. So of course, the focus is onto the risk management at the national level. So this is something, number of projects again here. So this is something again here, and plus we are talking again about conducting mandatory information security audit, and that's of course something important and which will help organizations to keep them updated from the cyber threats. And that was the last goal. And here we are talking about more promotion of certifications and the trainings from renowned international organizations. And of course, establish a cybersecurity training program for SMEs and plus cybersecurity education. So as I said, into cybersecurity education is the key. And unless and until we don't sensitize, we will not be able to protect. So this is something what we have tried to put into this particular goal, and that's the part of the action plan. And this is basically, if you look at it, this is the governance structure. So all the stakeholders of the strategy, they are the part of it. And the strategy going to be driven by the National Cyber Security Committee, that's the decision-making body. And then the project owner is the Ministry of ICT. And then if you look at it, all these are the different stakeholders. We being in the national cert, we are one of the stakeholders. And even in this strategy, if you look at it, most of the projects are driven through the cert. And now we have again the part of this governance structure. We are having critical sectors. It means that the public and the private partnership framework is into picture. We try to have this PPP set up so that once we try to implement this particular strategy, the public and the private partnership is already established, and that will be able to help us to drive the whole strategy implementation into the country. So again, we are having the PMO office here. We are having the law enforcement agencies, and then we are having the regulatory bodies, IT security unit, and then data protection office. And again, we have included all the vendors and the private sectors, and academia is again the part of the whole process of this particular strategy document. And thus quickly onto the implementation plan. And since we are talking about 28 action lines, and there are certain projects which are comprehensive, so we have tried to have the implementation plan fixed over a period of 5 years. And then as per the priority base, so we have categorized the projects based onto the priority, and high priority projects, medium priority projects, and the low priority projects, and that will be implemented over a period of 5 years depending on to the priority. And this is basically the implementation plan. So with this overview, I have given really the immersion experience that how we have built the national cyber security strategy. And with this, my presentation ends here. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you for this presentation. Now the floor is yours. We managed to save about 30 minutes for you to interact with the speakers. So if you have any question, any comment, any request for them, or we ask them to, okay, there's a question over there. So if you can say your name, your country, and your etc., not too long anyway.
Okay, merci beaucoup. C'est Ali Haji Madi.
Thank you very much. I'm Ali Maji from the Commerce Island. I followed the intervention of
Kalim.
Kalim.
Kalim, voilà. Donc, j'ai juste une question. Parce que quand on
I have only one question. When you look at the structure on set,
le CERT est
the set is integrated
si j'ai bien compris.
at the Ministry of ITC. And under the organigram, I see there is a private sector which is included. I would like to know
Secteur privé, étant donné
a role of the private sector, as it is not an independent structure, but it is a structure that is integrated at the ministry's level. And what is the link between the private sector and the set of Mauritius?
Thank you for your question. Basically, I have been talking about the development of national cybersecurity strategy, and within that, the governance structure, we have been talking about the public and the private partnership. So, meaning is that in order to implement any strategy successfully, there must be the component of the private sector be collaborating together with the public sector. So that's how we have included all the vendors, all the suppliers, plus all other organizations who are working towards computer security into that particular governance structure, so that if there is any issue and if there is any national level implementation, that could be addressed to the private sector as well. And plus, of course, I mean, we can have their inputs and their recommendations and suggestions as part of the National Information Security Committee, and based onto that, this could be rolled down to the projects, whatever we decide to go ahead with it. Thank you.
If I may answer as well, so semantics of the private sector. We have a number of partnerships with governments around the world, and we provide that kind of, starting from the intelligence actually. I was mentioning before, the intelligence is the beginning of everything. If you have intelligence, you know your enemy, you know what's happening, and you can correlate incidents and events in general. And so that kind of information sharing is key in this kind of partnership. So that's exactly the point. So the private sector is totally involved in this kind of discussion.
Up to you.
Okay, I'm SM. I'm from Mauritius. I think everybody knows me. If you don't know me, you don't do security. I had a lot of marketing talk on this panel. Everything is working great. If I listen to you guys, I would say you guys should work for the NSC. They should hire you. There would not be Snowden. There would not be anybody. I don't hear about problems. I don't hear about the problems you have in doing your job. The problems in security. For example, CERT.mu. I think Mr. Usmani knows me quite well because I usually report a few incidents. And sometimes I think he has an email problem. For example, there's a guy on the panel who is from the central bank. I know there's a problem with your security. I don't feel like reporting it to you because you don't have a feedback loop. When I listen to this talk, to all these talks, it's nice. But security, it's about talking about problems. Sometimes I understand it's difficult for you to have a solution. We don't expect you especially the nice people on the panel, to have solutions, because in security we understand that some problems are hard, it's not possible to solve them. Sometimes we turn towards government to solve our problem. We don't really like governments and all, but we don't understand that security is not only government, it's everybody, it's the user, it's the banks, it's the private sector and all. It's good to have this information sharing, this partnership and all. You guys, I don't hear you talking about this stuff. I mean, I spent a day listening to your talks. I'm not convinced that you are really engaged in security. That's all.
So now we have a challenge to convince him. Yeah, it's up to you. Who want to? I think the challenge is so big that nobody is.
We don't understand what the question really was. Can you, you know?
Okay, if someone can just rephrase the question, and because I think we are all clear about the last part that we have a challenge, but if you can just rephrase the maybe one part of the question.
I heard the word engaging. I think we're totally engaged in all this public sector, private sector, the whole collaboration within that.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep the question simple. I understand that your job is difficult. I'm not blaming you for anything because it's security. What are the challenges which you face in your daily jobs? What do you find difficult? What are the hard problems that you face? Can you try to explain it in a language which the common person, somebody who doesn't understand security, such as me, would understand?
Sure, I'll just throw out there some challenges I see in my daily job. Issues of information sharing. You know, when we find a URL and we know it's malicious and we know who it came from, you may have 3 or 4 different countries involved. You've got data sharing issues between every one of these countries. Many times we know who the perpetrator is, but we can't get to them because they've got different boundaries between us and them. Even if we know that he lives in somewhere in the U.S. or in one instance he was in France, but they circumvent where they're located, and we, trying to pull that information together. That's why we need information sharing. That's why we have to collaborate, so we can work together to put the pieces, to put the people in jail. Protecting users. We need to share information. When somebody finds a malicious site or they find malicious software, we have to work together to share that information and to protect the individual user at the end. It's a tough job because, in the security industry, not necessarily my personal daily job, but, we can, it's easy to say, let's build a house. I think if you were in an event I went to recently, the gentleman's example, who was Brian, his example was, I want to build a secure house. So I have to think about a lot of different things. One is the weather. It's easy to build a house that's going to defend against a tornado or big storms because they're predictable. You know what they do, you know what they don't do. The problems we have in security is we have malicious interveners here who you can't predict what they're going to do. And every time you build a bigger wall or a more secure window, they can change and morph and come at it from a different angle. So the job is very difficult in that manner from a security industry view. That's where we need to collaborate. We've got to share information. We've got to work together. We have to convince our lawmakers what kind of laws we need to put these people in jail. We have to have policies that allow us to share this information across boundaries. At the same time, we have to take into consideration, personal individuals' privacy data. We don't want to circumvent that. We don't want to lose it because then that gives them the information they need to steal your individual money. There's a lot of issues there. And ranting about, you haven't told me how to fix the problem. Well, tell us a solution. Don't rant and complain.
I agree with you. So you mentioned a lot of things. You mentioned legislation. We mentioned boundary, lack of boundaries, lack of jurisdiction, etc. I think the task is very difficult, even between governments. If you think about the kind of litigation between the EU, for instance, and the US, in many cases, people are trying to extradite hackers, and they can't do that because even between friend countries, it's difficult. So you get to a situation where legislation is lacking, agendas are completely different, tools are available to a certain point, intelligence is available to a certain point, but the idea is it's not going to happen tomorrow. We're not going to solve the issue of collaboration tomorrow. We're trying to do, as I was mentioning before, private-public partnerships. Symantec signed just last month an MOU with the Europol in terms of providing information, exchanging information. The exchange is really important. I give you something, you give me something. So exchange information about what's happening in terms of threats, in terms of cybersecurity issues, and try to find, and this is out of any commercial agreement, by the way, so it's really a memorandum of understanding about very high-level kind of collaboration. Little step by little step, I think we're going to get there. The issues are many. It's a complex matter, obviously, so it's not going to be solved tomorrow, but we need to get there together little by little.
Okay, I have constraints about timing. I just heard that the coffee break is going to close within the next 10 minutes. And there's no reason to skip the coffee break. So if you allow me, we are going to close this session with all the information we got about security posture, different view of policy, strategy, and plans. And please put your hand together for the panelists, and thank you. I would like to request those who were in the different AfricaSet workshops to please just wait a few minutes within this room right now. We have your certificates ready for you, the 2 certificates for the 2 workshops. Thank you.